original Death at a Funeral, I think, is absolutely the best. Better than the remake. Not that I don't like the remake, I prefer the original because it's the original. It's like the movie where it started everything. It was just awesome in the original, and there was no need to pretty much make an American copy. It wasn't a remake, it was a copy. So the original Death at a Funeral is set in the funeral home / mansion, and that's pretty much all we have for a movie set. Sure, there's a beginning where we meet the characters and they're driving to the funeral home, but let me just make a long story short. Everything that you don't want to happen at a funeral happens in this movie. But before I tell you that, I gotta tell you who our characters are. So there's Daniel and his brother Robert. Their father passed away, and they want to have just a good funeral to bid a final farewell to their father. But a stranger shows up, and he reveals the truth, or a secret, that the father kept to himself all the way up until he died. And this stranger blackmails Daniel into giving him £15,000. Otherwise, he's going to reveal everybody at the funeral what his father had been hiding. And that's your movie. But I can't tell you everything that happened in that movie. I gotta tell you, it's also good to watch the bloopers or behind the scenes of this movie because they are all so great at acting in this movie. The original, I had a hunch watching this. I'm thinking, did they giggle now and then while filming this? And sure enough, they did. If you watch the bloopers, they actually show the bloopers at the end of the movie. And if you buy the DVD or rent the DVD, you're gonna see they had to do so many takes because they just kept cracking up in laughter no matter what scene they were filming, and they did everything they could to try and keep a straight, long face. Funerals are serious business. They really had to make this movie as realistic as it could possibly be. But when you're acting, it's all pretend, just like my teacher said. It's all pretend. It's not real. This isn't a real funeral. You really have to try and put your mind. If I was in this movie, I would have had to put my mind in a real life situation. What if this actually was a real funeral? It just is a bit of a reminder, kind of bursting your bubble saying it's all make-believe, it wasn't a real funeral, no one died, and they're all having a good time. But that's why it's a dark comedy, because you don't expect to see any of that at a funeral. It's inappropriate for a funeral. I mean, it's a good movie to watch, but I wouldn't watch it before a funeral. However, it is a movie that you could watch with your friends and have a good time. Just invite your friends over, watch it. It's a good friends get-together movie. If you're in the mood for late-night comedies like Superbad or American Pie, or Bad Night, I would say Death at a Funeral is one of the movies on the list. And I will say it is 10 out of 10 film cameras. So hilarious. I've actually recommended it a lot to people. This woman, I actually ran into her at the library, and I showed her the trailer. She's like, I'm going to watch this movie. I'm going to watch it. Thank you so much for introducing it or recommending it. I recommended the remake to my mother, which is what she saw. She liked it. I didn't mind the remake, need I remind you, but I prefer the original over the remake or copy. In other words, that's the end of my review, fellas. Stay tuned for my next one. And just so you know, the Golden Globes are January 7th, so this video will be posted by the time that awards show is either playing or over. So good luck. Hopefully Catherine Langford and Robert De Niro will win the Golden Globes. And see you soon. Mr. Blues here for you.